Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my self-tanning routine, and I'm doing this video as per request by one of my subscribers, so thank you very much for requesting that I film this video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about both the products that I use and how I prep my skin for the self-tanning routine that I do, and then I'm going to be doing a demo at the end of the video as well. So first things first, the self-tanner that I use is the Loving Tan 2-Hour Express in the color Dark. And this can be purchased on the Loving Tan website, which I will of course link below for you guys. And this is actually the only self-tanner that I've ever used. And I've never tried any other ones, but I also haven't felt the need to ever. I've heard so many people talking about this and raving about how great of a product it is and how well it works. So I bought it and I gave it a try and I fell in love with it instantly and have never felt the need to try anything else. So what I love about this product is that it gives you a really natural bronzed look, in my opinion. I feel like when I wear this, it doesn't look so obviously fake. Like, I don't look too orange or too brown. I just look tan, which is what I really like about it. And it's also really easy to use, and it's quick and gives you really just natural looking results. I just love it. So the reason that I use the 2-Hour Express as opposed to like the regular 8 or 9 hour one, it's actually not really for quickness or convenience, because I actually do leave this on longer than 2 hours. But the reason that I use this one instead is because I have found that when I bought the regular one, that it just looked a little bit, it just looked worse. Like, I feel like whenever I use the regular one, my hands get too dark and like my feet get too dark and my elbows get too dark, and it looked less natural. So that's why I prefer the 2-Hour Express. However, I do leave it on for longer than 2 hours, because the longer that you leave it on, obviously the darker that you will get. And I like to get as dark as possible because I naturally like the color of my shirt. So I like to leave it on for like at least like 4 hours. Actually, you can leave it on for 2 hours and still get really good results and get a lot darker, but I just want to be as tan as possible, so I tend to leave this on longer. Sometimes I do actually leave this on overnight, but you do want to be careful not to leave it on your hands overnight. You want to wash it off like before you go to bed, because it will stick to your hands and give you those really dark knuckles, which I'm sure you guys have seen in some of my videos when self-tanning goes wrong and I forget to wash my hands before bed. But you do want to wash it off after like an hour or two, or else your hands will just get too dark and it'll look a little bit crazy. You also want to be careful if you have white sheets. I would not recommend wearing this to bed because it probably will stain your sheets. So just throwing that out there. But if you just want to leave this on like during the day for like 8 hours, that's possible too, and then just wash it off, and you'll get even darker than if you leave it on for 2 hours. But if you leave it on for just 2 hours, you will also get plenty dark, so don't worry. Okay, so next I want to talk about how I prep my skin for self-tanner, and I'm not going to be showing this first part in the demo, and I'll explain why in just a second. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you get in the shower, or don't get in the shower, but you want to make sure that you shave. And the reason for that is because if you have any little stubbles or hairs growing in, the self-tanner will actually cling to them, and then you'll have all these little brown spots like on your legs or your armpits or whatever, and it's really just not cute. So you do want to make sure the first thing that you do is you shave. The second thing that you want to make sure you do is exfoliate. And for this, I like to use this Loving Tan Removing Exfoliating Mitt, I believe is what it's called, which you can also purchase from the Loving Tan website. So you just kind of put it on your hand like this, and this black side is a little bit rougher, and then this pink side over here is a little bit more smooth. So this will exfoliate you a little bit more aggressively. And the reason I love this mitt so much is because it completely takes away the old layer of tanner that you have remaining on your skin, so you can start over fresh. And I like to do it that way because sometimes when my tan starts to fade, it can get a little bit patchy in areas like around my knees and around my ankles. So I just like to rub all that off and start fresh, so I'm not like layering tanner over the part that's already a little patchy, and then it just looks patchier and darker in those areas. So I just like to start from a clean slate by removing all the tanner that I have already on my body using this little mitt thingy, and then applying the tanner after that. Another reason why doing the exfoliating is important is because your self-tanner will cling to any dry patches on your skin. So if like your elbows are really dry and your knees are really dry, it'll stick to that skin and it just won't look blended and even. It'll look very patchy, which is why you want to make sure you exfoliate your skin before you tan. So like I said, I like to do those 2 steps the night before I self-tan, and the reason for that is because I don't like to just slap on self-tanner afterwards, because I like to give my skin a while to chill, and most importantly, I like to moisturize my skin after I do that, because if I don't, it'll get way too dry. Exfoliating and shaving can both dry out your skin, so if you don't moisturize after, my skin just feels like really dry for like the rest of the week, and I don't like it. And I don't like to put moisturizer under my self-tanner because then it doesn't adhere to my skin properly and it doesn't do the process the way that it should. So after I shave and exfoliate and get out of the shower, I like to use my Nivea Essentially Enriched Body Lotion, which I talked about in my beachy makeup look video. It's just a really great, nourishing, hydrating body lotion that I'll just slather all over before I go to bed. And you want to make sure that you especially apply a lot of this to like the areas that are more dry, like your knees, your elbows, your wrists, your ankles, so that they really stay hydrated, so that the self-tanner does not cling to those areas as much. Okay, so that basically sums up my pre-tanning prep routine. So I basically do that the night before I tan, and then I wake up the next morning, and first thing in the morning, I start my tanning routine, which I'm going to show you guys in the demo. So let's go ahead and get into the demo.
So I'm starting off, of course, with clean, dry, shaved, exfoliated, and super duper pasty skin, and going in with my Loving Tan and my St. Tropez self-tanning mitt, and I'm taking about 4 pumps to start, and I'm going to start with my legs, and I find that 4 pumps is the perfect amount, and I just start to rub that into my legs as if it's like a lotion or whatever, but on a mitt, and just blend it in really good. So you want to do just like you do with makeup. You want to just keep blending so there are no harsh lines. Then when there starts to get to be less product on that mitt, I'll start to work it onto my ankles and my feet. Like I said, it can stick to those areas a little bit more, so you want to make sure you're not applying too much product there. It'll get too dark. And then you want to make sure you get in between your toes as well, and then I just kind of bend my toes so I get in between the little creases in my toes, so those parts are not left to be super white. And then I'm just doing the exact same thing over here on my other leg and foot. Then I'm going to take about 3 pumps, and I find that that is the perfect amount to use on your arm. And the same thing that I'm doing on my leg, I'm doing on my arm. So just blending it out and rubbing it around really, really good. And make sure you don't forget your armpits, because you don't want those to be stark white when the rest of you is nice and tan. And then I just take that mitt and I blend the tanner up onto my shoulders. And once there is the least amount of product left on the mitt, I take it and I start to blend it onto my hands, and of course, again, don't forget in between your fingers, and then I just make a fist to expose the little creases in my hand so I get that part as well, so it's not left white. And you want to make sure you also blend in your elbows really good, because that's a part that it can easily stick to and get really bad. So here is the difference between my tanned arm and my untanned arm. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one, and I'm literally doing the exact same thing on this arm that I did on the other. Then I just take a very small pump for my chest area, and I just start to blend that into the self-tanner that's already on my body, making sure there are no streaks or lines between where I placed it before. And then you want to make sure you also blend it in and rub it into the back of your neck as well. And then I just add a little bit of extra tanner to the tops of my shoulders, because that's where you would like naturally get the darkest if you were sitting out in the sun. So I want to make it look a little bit more natural by adding extra tanner there. And I actually do not tan my face just because I find that it fades so quickly with how much I'm washing my face anyway. So I'm just going to do my neck. And for this, I like to take 1 small pump on this Ecotools big fluffy brush, which I don't know the name of, but I will link below for you guys. But I just find that using a brush really just helps you get in those smaller areas. And you want to make sure that you blend that onto the back of your neck and into your ears and right underneath that jawline, and then blend it into your chest where the self-tanner stopped before. So now that I am all covered in tan, I'm going to let that marinate for about 4 hours. And while this marinates, I've got my sister here with me today, so I'm just doing little things around my house, like plucking and tweezing her eyebrows and cleaning up my room. You guys know how much of a mess us girls make when we're getting ready in the morning, trying on like 50 different outfits, so I always have so many clothes to hang up at the end of every day. And then I'm also going to clean up my vanity area, because same deal with that. I make such a mess when I'm getting ready in the morning and my makeup is everywhere. And then I'm just editing a video that I've got coming up for you guys, and after it's been about 4 hours. I'm going to come back and I'm going to hop in the shower and rinse off that self-tanner, and I'll be right back. So here we have the results. I'm nice and tan and glowy. So I hope you guys enjoyed my self-tanning routine. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!